guys, Joe here. As promised, I'm going to do that video today on restoring headlights. Now this is my father's, let me back out, '06 Dodge Ram Night Runner edition, and the reason why I'm going to restore them rather than just replace them is, number one, they are fixable, and number two is because the Night Runner package has blacked out inserts on the headlights versus just the all chrome of the Longhorn or the Laramies. The comparable vehicle nowadays would be the Black Express. That other headlight I did a year ago, and it actually looked just like this one, so you can see how far it came. And I wasn't even finished with that one because after I did that one, I actually wound up in the hospital, never got to this one. So today I'm going to do this one and that one again, and we will go through it. First thing I'm doing is putting all my stuff out. Now, I thought I had a finer grit sandpaper, but I don't, so I'm just going to kind of go ham with a heavier grit, take all this crazing and glazing out of it, which as you can see is kind of coming back a bit. Again, I never hit it with finish compound or anything last time, and we will see where we are. So back in a few minutes. Okay, so I know this looks freaky, but it's actually what you want. As you're sanding, you want to make sure to get all the plastic at the same level. To do that, you are going to scratch the hell out of it. That's what the cutting compound and the rubbing compounds are for. Also, make sure to keep lots of water available to lubricate the pad. If it's too dry, you could actually really damage the plastic. So yeah, little update. So yeah, you want it to look completely hazy when you're all done, and I will get a picture of that before I start cutting and compounding. Alright, one tip real quick is when you're sanding, you need to make sure to move around a lot. And your sandpaper will tell you when you've gotten either too dirty, so you need to clean it off, or when you're done with the area. Typically, you want to have almost no resistance between the sandpaper and the surface. If you have resistance, it means you still have uneven areas that the sandpaper hasn't really hit yet. The minute it becomes smooth and easy to move across, then you know you probably have it all. And I'll show you another way to tell as soon as I'm done with this headlight here. Okay, now don't panic, because this is actually what you want the headlight to look like before you move on to the next set of steps. As you can see, I've sanded it down. That's just a little bit of moisture still. It hasn't completely dried, but I've sanded it down to get as flat as I can, and running my hand over it, it feels nice and smooth. Now, one thing I want to talk about is I did mention that these are the original headlights. That's why they're so foggy and that they're kind of special. In 90% of cases, it's actually cheaper just to put in new headlights. You can get them aftermarket, JC Whitney, whatever. My father didn't want to do that. He wants to keep the original manufacturer Dodge equipment in the vehicle. So to replace these headlights would probably be a couple of $100 aside. I'm free because I'm his son. So there you go. I'll just keep going, and we'll come back to you after the first pass with the rubbing compound. Very important tip, guys. Make sure you have supplies before you start so you don't wind up running out to get some. Alright, so now this is after 1000 grit. You should be pretty uniform. I'm not worried about down here because this is just the repeater. This is number one area, that's number two obviously, and then the entire encasement up at the top needs to be really clean in order to project the best possible image. So I will continue going. I'm going to hit it with 1500 grit next, show you how minimalized the scratches are going to be, and then we'll get to the buffing. Alright, so there we go, 1500 gritted, ready to be power cut, buffed, and polished. I will get to that now. This is the first thing I'm going to use. It's a power cut compound. It's obviously something I've had for a while. I used to own my own body shop, so that's also another thing I'm doing here. I have experience doing this. You could always go to Kmart and pick up a, $10 headlight restore kit and probably pass emissions or safety inspection using it, but it doesn't work long. It's usually lacquer based, or it does the exact same thing. If it's the exact same thing, it might work, but you have to do it right. So we'll be back to it. So to recap, this is what we started with. As you can see, very crazed, hard to see, very damaged, coming around, coming around. Obviously I need to wash other people's cars now, but that is the headlight after wet sanding, buffing, and polishing the lens. Yeah, I probably could have spent another hour on it, but the way it is now, it will probably last long enough until the engine in this truck finally explodes. So there you go. And there we go. That is the completed restored lens on the passenger side. Passenger side was pretty bad, so there's still some schmutz. I haven't washed the truck yet. As you can see, it's still covered in crap. I'm going to protect the lenses, probably with some sort of wax or sealant. But yeah, those are perfectly serviceable headlights now, and they will work for as long as I need to. So there you go. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Any comments, leave them down below. That's about it. You'll be seeing a video on the truck itself within the next day or 3 years. I haven't decided.